pounds. Palace spokesman says the Queen is housebound with a heavy cold, and as a result...
No, you're not getting any output at all.
No, nothing at all.
Well, I can hear it.
Yeah, so can I. I'm getting just as bad on this machine here. I'm on maximum.
There's something that just... Let me come over for a second. Hang up, I'll be right over.
Yeah. Okay, now I've got a tape snag.
Okay.
Always happens at the wrong time. How'd you read me anyway?
Very fine.
Okay. I'll give you a piece first, then we'll do a test.
For the second time in 3 weeks, illness has confined Queen Elizabeth to Buckingham Palace.
Down a bit?
Yeah,
The
that's good there.
spokesman says the Queen is housebound with a heavy cold, and as a result, she was unable to join Princess Margaret and Lord Snowdon at her favorite racing event, the famous Derby, won today by an American-owned horse named Larkspur. Only 3 weeks ago, the Queen was ill with a temperature and a sore throat. As usual...
5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, I don't think so. You might do it in case I get in trouble. Maybe it's a good way to catch you in this second or two to think.
Yes. General Eisenhower arrived here in London a week ago and has been having a tourist dream.
Delighted we all are to have you with us today. I hope my question will not seem rude, but I would like to ask you why you have come.
Well, first of all, because of my very deep interest in this whole region, not only Great Britain, but Western Europe. Secondly, I have been devoting a great deal of my time and my life to trying to help people to understand other people all over the world. And as such, I'm chairman of an organization that's called People to People in the United States. So I went to Sweden to give a speech to 500 teachers that came from all over the world. And that's just part of my effort. That gave me a good excuse to come back here. Have you been fighting the Well, with some of my old soldier comrades, I saw a whole group of them last evening. I saw Lord Alexander, a man who I admire extravagantly, this afternoon. And of course, I had a visit with the Prime Minister, the ex-Prime Minister, Winston Churchill.
Are you writing memoirs, sir?
Yes, I am trying to, as far as time will permit me. I am trying to get down a bit here and there, and but they are not of my life. They are of the 8 years that I spent in the White House. He was, I thought, he was much more lively, vital than I had been led to believe, because I had heard some cautions to be very close, to be very careful, but and not to expect too much. Of course, he is hard of hearing, but we had a very nice time, and I thoroughly enjoyed the visit.
Now, can you tell me, please, how long have you worked in the stable here?
Oh, about 15 years.
15 years. That's a long time. You must have seen lots of changes.
Arr.
foreign policy. You
Please.
No, it's not that. It's just the speaking into the damn thing.
Oh, Christ.
and programs now going forward, I think that
The comparison before. Do you want any names, or am I allowed to say names,
Well,
or
it depends.
are you allowed to interview me as Xavier, or what?
Well.
it is a very serious problem.
Okay. I'll take a level here.
Are you going? You're not going to get out, yeah? Are you? Come on, you're supposed to.
1, 2, 3, 4. Do just 5 minutes.
Actually, the amenities we have here are almost unbelievable. Here am I, a sort of fabulous businessman in the centre of London, and within 200 yards, I just have my pony brought, and I'm on the row. And only this morning, we went for a ride with my daughter, and I went and had coffee with the Queen, sort of thing. I went through the park, right through into St James, watched the actual, what would you call it, the changing the guards, and then came back here, and all that within 1 hour. I'm feeling fit as a fiddle after that, you see.
Do you keep your own horses, or is it?
Well, I find the livery stable here is so wonderful, and they look after me so well. It's not worth my while. And as my family ride, I think it would be rather a bit expensive to have too many livery horses, because they're rather expensive, as you can well guess in town. The amount of expense for keeping a horse fed is much more than in the country. But the actual heart of London, which is the Hyde Park itself, it's like country air to me, anyway.
So you really don't miss country riding at all, then?
No, I have full amenities. I have everything that country can give you, except the jumping and the obstacles. But then we have the children and the dogs and the noises and the traffic and pedestrians. They all come and start to give us the obstacles. And you've got to be really bang on to ride some of these horses. You really got to be aware of it.
Well, what changes have you seen through the years? Because you've been riding, what, about 15 years?
Oh, more than that, before the war, when I was quite young. Well, youngish, 20 then. The biggest change, I think, is in the amount of people riding, number one, and number two, the type of style of dress. Oh yes, before the war, there was a committee, a special committee that controlled the actual.
One, two, one, two. Rotten Row in London's Hyde Park is unique. There are 7 miles of bridle paths in the heart of the city. Not even in the Bois de Boulogne in Paris is there the feeling and thrill of riding in a great cosmopolitan city. The origin of the name Rotten Row is obscure, but is believed to be a corruption of Route du Roi, although there is no evidence that it was ever the route of the king. One prominent Londoner described the park and changes he's seen. One prominent Londoner describes the park and the changes he's seen. Stable owners are more than aware of the problems of safety and responsibility they owe their riders. Stable owners are more than aware of the problems of safety and responsibility they owe their riders. Although the traffic is heavy, and especially bad at Hyde Park Corner, the horses have few problems, yet one girl is often worried about little children. And there are occasional moments of drama. Even in this, the coldest winter since 1740, some of the hardiest riders still ventured out. Riding in the park is, although no longer so exclusive, still expensive and a major headache for stable owners. Today, a whole generation of young London equestrians have never ridden in the country. With all the new little riders, it seems the tradition of Rotten Row will last a good while longer. So, Little riders, it seems the tradition of Rotten Row will last a good while longer. So, with all the new little riders, so,
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just hold the microphone for you. How many years have you lived in Britain?
Well, I arrived in Britain in 1940, just after the collapse of France. And since then, I used to stay in this country.
But you believe that someday you can and will go back to Poland.
I'm sure of it.
And as head of the, in effect, the provisional Polish government in exile, this is the end of all your policy to go back to Poland.
That is right.
And how do you propose to return to Poland?
By peaceful means, I don't believe.
Hang on. Now it's recording. See the arrow? Never let that. See the arrow up there?
It mustn't get up into the red.
It shouldn't go into the red, so turn it down. And remember, if you're down there, you're fine. I'd record for mostly. No. Right now we're recording, Greg. It barely shows.
While you go through the formalities in the airport and get somewhere, wherever it may be at the other.
On and off.
That's running.
Okay, it's running.
See the little light in there?
Mm-hmm.
That means you've got plenty of juice left in your battery.
Full to the cause of Polish freedom and independence, and that is what they are doing as a Polish community. Besides, they have duties to themselves. They live a Polish life, though fully integrated into the British environment. They are Poles and they wish to remain Poles. We keep them together.
But how many of them would go back in the event that communism collapsed in Poland?
Well, few of them would go back. They got jobs in this country, families, they have grown up, their children are studying in British schools, universities, and things like that. But even so, they remain the character they adopted in 1945 of political exiles. They are a constant and living protest against the fate which has befallen.
Do you ever, as a political exile from your own country, feel a sense of futility in what you're doing?
Not at all, just to the contrary. I believe we are very effective. And just to give you an example, we used to make a lot of publicity about the economic exploitation of Poland by Russia, for instance, about Polish coal being exported from Poland to Russia mm, practically free. They paid $3 per ton of Polish coal, which is practically nothing at all. And we succeeded in 1956. Russia was compelled to revise these trade agreements and to give Poland better terms. I won't say that this economic exploitation of Poland is over, but still we improved the position in Poland. Things like that. By watching the events in Poland, by publicizing them in the free world, we have achieved a lot, and we still believe we may even more in the future.
You're a former member of the pre-war Polish parliament. Now, you seem to have devoted the rest of your life, or the majority of your adult life, to the cause of anti-communist Poland, to the cause of liberating Poland from communism. Is it worth it?
Yes, it is. I represented in the pre-war Polish parliament the Polish workers. I am a socialist myself, but I believe in democracy. I can't believe that any social changes can be achieved by force, by forcing people to adopt somebody's ideas. And I want Polish workers to be free. They want to be free, I know it. And I never have regretted of having devoted my life to the workers' cause, and I believe I am still true to them, and I have to fight the communists because that is the most cruel oppression of the working people which has ever existed in the world.
As an exile, are you often lonely and homesick?
Yes, I confess, every night I dream about Poland. Every night.
Get sore from Sunday to Sunday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That we just do.
What is your sort of biggest problem having a stable in the middle of a city?
Well, the biggest problem is that the horses and ponies are quiet.
Or they don't get enough exercise? Or?
No, they get enough exercise, but you have to have them very quiet.
Oh, I see. It tends to make them more nervous than living in the country.
No, they're not more nervous here than in the country.
But what the noise?
No, they're used to the noise, you see. They're all quiet, as I told you. They're all quiet.
Oh, I see.
So you seem
Okay. Well, can you tell me, first of all, how long have you been riding?
Well, I've been riding for about a year and a half now. And I like it very much.
But how old are you?
I'm 13.
Well, actually, that's sort of late for someone to start riding, isn't it?
Well, yes, because my mother never wanted me to ride before. And suddenly I've just convinced her, and she has let me.
Does no one else in your family ride?
He says he's too old and he doesn't want to.
Well, what exactly do you do here at the stable?
It's quite good fun.
It's a lot of hard work as well, isn't
it? Sometimes you really get tired out.
Well, you really must love horses then, to do all that.
Oh, I love them, really.
What do you like most about being able to ride in the park?
Well, it's fun. There's always something new in it. And sometimes you can do things you're not allowed to do, have a gallop sometimes.
Well, how long a ride can you take in the park?
Oh, well,
not time, but I mean, how large is Rotten Row?
Well, it usually takes about an hour and a half to get round it. I mean, quite a slow pace. If you want to go fast, you can do it in an hour.
Yeah. Would you have to cross many streets while you're in the park at all?
No.
It's strictly relatively just country, really, then, once you're inside the park.
Yes, but there are a lot of people, and there's only the Serpentine Road, and that's got a bit of sand as well,
You have to watch out for prams and this sort of thing.
Yes, sometimes they go across the track, and you just don't. You have to stop immediately, if not, you practically kill the baby and nanny and everything.
Oh, marvelous! Do you want to show jump or show horses at all?
Oh, definitely. Yes, I'm going to try it this summer. Miss Bloom has, told me she'll let me.
Yeah. That's marvelous. Have you any brothers and sisters that want to ride as well?
No, I haven't got any brothers and sisters at all.
I can see why Mummy doesn't want her little girl to get kicked or something. Eh?
Yes.
Well, what was the most exciting thing that has ever happened to you?
Well, one day a pony ran away with me, and I really got afraid. I didn't know where I was. I mean, he just suddenly jumped and then galloped away with me and went across the road. All the traffic screeched, I lost my nerve for a bit. Then I got back again and rode, and it was all right.
It seems to be the problem with riders. If they suddenly lose their nerve, if something like that happens to them, it's not very often that they get it back. Or do you disagree?
Oh, well, I think if you try and if you want to, you can get it back. definitely.
Do you agree with the theory that if you're thrown, you must get right back on?
Yes.
Right. Well, the last time you saw him was 3, and then 15 years later, you find out he's almost ready to get married. Well, you have, to my mind, accomplished wonders in this country. Everywhere the countryside seems to be prosperous. The agriculture seems to be going fine. Maybe the weather's cooperating too. I find a very fine morale. Everybody I'm talking to is on the up and up. I don't see any pessimism or a great unrest or any of that kind, which you would expect in a country, let's say, it was fearful. I don't think Britain is fearful, and I may extend this a little bit. I found this in France and Denmark and Sweden and Germany. I find the same kind of growth and improvement, and I think Western Europe is really making terrific progress. As you may know, some of you, way back in 1951, I came over from France to make a speech about the unifying of this region so as to have it one of the strongest areas of the world. I still believe it.
Sir, did you do anything as a private visitor here that you could not have done as an official one?
Have I done anything as a
Private visitor, been to see anything or, been to places that you could not have easily visited as an official visitor? President or commander-in-chief?
You mean, did I see more than I would have seen then?
Yes,
Well, you can go around, you can talk more freely, and after all, a president, wherever he goes in our country, is surrounded by a very strong secret service, and then the local government gives you many police, and I've had guides, motorcyclists, outriders, and to get me from here to there, so it didn't take too much time. But as a result of that, I have been able to go leisurely through as many of your historical monuments, not merely talking to the guide who's been trying to educate me, but talking to the people that are going along with me. And it's really with a great glee that I hear them say "good old like." It's I get a great satisfaction out of it.
General, have you met anyone who didn't know you were alive?
What's that?
Have you met anyone who didn't know you were alive?
Well, no, I haven't met anybody. Some once in a while, I guess I pass people on the street that don't look around, but no, I haven't met anyone. Well, I won't have time. I thought I was going to have the date of the 23rd, but I've made a date now that takes me up to, Wexford, somewhere 83 miles, so I won't have time to play golf tonight. I'm just going to play Turnberry.
General, what did you shoot at Wexford?
Now, this is a military secret.
General Eisenhower.
I still remember a general in the army.
General Eisenhower, will you go to Japan now?
What's that?
Will you go to Japan now?
Japan?
Yes.
Well, not now. As a matter of fact, now for the next several months.
But you're not considering a visit in the very near future.
No, not in the near future. What's actually happened, all of my engagements for these 6 or 7 weeks, I've had to push up to September, to the end of the year, and I'm so busy when I get home that I really
Americans, you must consider that after the war, I was in an American prisoner camp. I worked there as interpreter. We had a very good leader, and I was treated very well. And after the war, I started to work for the American court here in Frankfurt, and I had to represent also before other American courts in Heidelberg, Stuttgart, Munich. And I myself, I prefer the, you say, Anglo-Saxon system, especially in the procedure, especially in criminal law. I had a lot of cases to defend before the American criminal courts. But fortunately, we had always German, English interpreters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the system is, in my opinion, more democratic because the judge, he doesn't know anything about the Akten, with the Akten.
Action,
Actions, documents.
I see.
He doesn't know the accused. He doesn't know the Vorstrafen, the record.
Yes.
And he's more independent.
Now you mean, let me be clear about this. You mean that in Germany, the defendant doesn't know of his accuser ordinarily? Because certainly in the Anglo-Saxon courts, the defendant must know who is accusing him. He must know why he is being accused, and of course he is considered innocent until he is proven guilty.
Well, the system is different. The chief point is this. In Germany, in the criminal court, the judge knows the record.
And that going with this other visit, I don't know, I wouldn't even know the names of the courses at the moment.
How do you intend to spend your time in Scotland?
Well, I hope to play 4 days of golf, and I hope the weather will cooperate, and no one will watch what I'm doing after I get past the first tee.
Will you be taking your electric trolley with you?
What's that?
Will you be taking your electric trolley with you?
I will. I can't play golf unless I do. The doctors say for a man who's had my kind of a heart attack, he must never allow himself to get fatigued. That is, climbing hills, particularly in warm weather. And I understand that if they already have one at Turnbrae, so I think I'm all fixed.
On that point, so how are you feeling?
Oh, fine. I feel fine. I have nothing. I have nothing I can report in which I feel badly.
After you travel in Europe now, how do you judge as an Indo-statesman the situation about Berlin?
Well, I don't mind talking a bit about Berlin as it's as we've seen it in the last few years and as of up to now. I just don't want to talk about what I think we should do in the now and in the future, because that's not my business. The one thing that I see about this Berlin case is this. We too often are calling it the crisis of Berlin. Since 1947. Disturbance in any way.
Yeah, you know.
Uh, Alright, just see.
Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello. Hey, hey.
Hello. Yep. Doyle.
Okay.
Bring them all back to the refrigerator. We'll make
Okay.
them and we'll bring them all out when they come back.
Okay. Hey, look. Look how this is moving. Yeah. Yeah, let's play it again. Wait.
Where's the magic card?
There's the magic rod.
It's going up and down.
There we are. It's playing.
All right, well, turn it off and
Wonkity wonkity wonk. Now let's play.
play it.
Let's do the record. Hey. Hey. What's the matter?
All you get is hey, hey, hey.
Something is missing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see? Hey. Hey. Look.
Yeah. Working fine.
Hey. Hey.
What's M?
Let's drop it.
Or rather, the middle word's woody.
Wonder of Tweed.
Still does it the same way.
Sort of. France, Ireland.
Recording the wobble in the hall. One thumb. Yeah. Just make damn sure. Just keep your grip on it a little.
Very diplomatic, the West.
you can see everything's growing all right.
Yeah.
In the north of England, and I was comparing my fodder bill to my sister's here, and it was absolutely fabulous. I mean, she was paying half as much again for inferior stuff, and where we're badly handicapped here is the fact that we have to store it in week by week. We have nowhere to store it.
Yeah, because all the people are living where the horses used to live,
Yes.
in the Mews flats
Oh, yes,
in London.
horrid. I mean, these are the most expensive, well, before the coachmen and grooms used to live here, they're the most expensive flats now, Mews flats. And another thing is, I know just recently the lease was up, and they didn't want to renew it. Well, then having to beg for it, of course, they dictated their own terms. So, you know, the overheads are really fantastic.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Goodbye, Crook. On that occasion, one doesn't.
That doesn't happen often.
No.
What about the traffic?
Oh, these horses are used to traffic. They're very good. They're worth their weight in gold. Once you get a good horse, we like to keep it.
Where do you find your horses, most of them?
Well, a lot of our horses have been privately owned, and people know us, and they know they're going to have a good home here. They're not overworked, and they certainly have plenty of food, and they're well looked after.
That's tremendous. What a lot as a little girl.
Oh, yes, in the country. I learnt the hard way, without a saddle and a bridle, but without a saddle.
Some say that's the best way.
Well, it is. I think it is, in a way. It makes you really use your legs anyway.
Not professional. How long have you ridden, Sandra? Sarah. Oh, anyway.
About 3 years, I think.
And you're lucky because you have this in London.
Yes.
Well, did you learn to ride in the park then?
Yes.
You're a city girl.
Yes.
Tell me about it. What sort of decided you on riding?
Well, I've always liked horses. I've never been able to ride before. So I learned. We went out to Hampstead first, and we had a look at the stables. We didn't like them up there, so we came here and we looked them over and we liked them, so I decided to learn.
What do your parents think of this?
Oh, I think it's good, because my mother used to ride when she was young, and so she likes me. And her father used to own stables.
So you have the best of both worlds here.
Yes.
So do you have any brothers and sisters that ride?
No, I haven't got any brothers and sisters at all. Anyway.
Your parents ride as well?
No, not now.
You ever fallen off?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
I was on Shandy, and he tripped over. Esther and I went flying over the. Well, I don't think I've fallen off any other time, except that. I've fallen off when I was riding in the country with my friends, not in the park.
How do you feel about it yourself? Do you feel that you'd like to see Germany reunified?
Well, look here, we have had in our industry and our standard of living has risen very much. And I myself, I was in the east part of Berlin 2 weeks ago. It's such a big difference. When you come to the east part of Berlin, you mean you stay in Russia.
It's like being in Russia.
Yeah, it's like being in Russia. Nearly no traffic. The women, the men are dressed very modest. And you cannot buy what you buy in the shops in the western part. It's like a frontier between two different countries.
So you feel that really you don't need the eastern part of Germany now. Western Germany could get along very well without the.
Well, my opinion, yes. Well, we need people for the industry. I think we could use 3, 4, 5 millions more to work in the western part of Germany. But I'm afraid after 10 years since now, that the Germans have become communist because the youth is educated in the same way as the Nazis educated the youth during their rule. It's a question of education. And I'm afraid that the youth become frustrated communists.
Well, by that same token, then, that would mean that the youth educated under the Hitler regime would still be Nazis. I mean,
well, look here. Our schools, and I think our politicians have done a lot after the war to show the youth that this system was really wrong. And I just saw, what do you say, representation? No, in the
were in the papers or the film?
No, in the film, in the television.
Yes.
And
yeah.
they showed the revolution during the Nazi time, during the war, the 20th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed the Jews, the concentration camps and all those things. And I'm sure that the German youth is no more Nazi.
I've heard though that there's still a considerable amount of anti-Semitism in Germany. Is that correct?
Well, that maybe, look here. During the Nazi time, the anti-Semitism, what you say, it was never, in my opinion, and I'm sure, a feeling of the people, of the population itself. It was a certain class around Hitler. And I'm coming from the Rhineland, from the Catholic Rhineland. And my family is an old Catholic family. I knew a lot of German Catholics who belonged formally to the Nazi Party. They carried their feast remarks among, but they were not convinced they were Nazis. These were businessmen, these were officials of the government, and even a lot of persons like me, lawyers, or doctors of medicine, because it was practically impossible for those people not to belong to the party. Perhaps it's the same what we do now in the Russian zone of Germany. A businessman couldn't get wares. Official of the government, he couldn't advance in his profession. There was a person in everything. Very often it was sufficient that you didn't obstruct, you say, against the government. And you went, you became a member, and you paid your fees, and then you were free, you were a free marine, a marine. That was all.
Well, now, what about the question of